And so here I am with my 2002 Chevy Silverado 1500 with a 5.3 liter engine. I've had it since it was brand new. It is now 2016. I have since had the brake lines rust out, which have been repaired twice. Now the fuel line was leaking. I noticed when I'd park that I'd smell fuel, and then looked underneath, and now the fuel lines are leaking. As you can see, just got done snowing yesterday. Most of it's melting. I don't have a garage, so I have to work on this out in my unpaved driveway. I have my old comforter there. I bought the fuel line kit from linstogo.com. Good set. I only needed the one length, but looking underneath, looks like they're all rusting out pretty good, so I figured before it starts leaking in other spots, I might as well go ahead and replace all the fuel lines. Doesn't look like it's very easy to do, but I think I can accomplish it. One thing, I am not a mechanic. I work on computers. So my disclaimer is, if you're going to follow my instructions, do at your own risk. Of course, take any safety precautions, especially when you're dealing with fuel lines. I can show you the instructions say to start the vehicle, and then pull the fuel pump relay, which is right there. As you can see, it's out, and its spot is in there. Don't remember the exact location, but I pulled it out of there. So what you do is you start the vehicle, pull the fuel pump relay, and then it'll stall out, which relieves most of the fuel pressure that's in the lines. And if you'll notice, I also disconnected the battery before working on this. I also recommend some goggles, not only just in case when you relieve the rest of the fuel pressure for the gasoline, but mainly for any debris that's going to fall in your face, because it is quite rusty underneath. So part of the fuel line kit, they call this the Nylon fuel line repair kit, and basically that's so that if you do have to cut the nylon line portion of the fuel line, which I had to do, this will help you get everything connected all up again. So basically the lines coming off the fuel tank are nylon, and right here is the rusted portion. So right there is where the line connects into the nylon portion, which goes up into the fuel tank. Well, to get that connector off when it's rusted like that is almost impossible, so I had to cut it. And as you can see, there on the far left, I cut the nylon line that goes up to the fuel tank. And let's see if I can show you where the hole is. Not sure if you can see it, but the hole is right at the tip of my pinky right there. Now also in that same general location underneath where it's routed, there's the so this is the supply, and you also have what they call, I believe, the return line. So in the same location, it's rusted pretty bad. You can't really see it, so I'm assuming there's probably going to be a hole there on the return line soon. So I'm just going to go ahead and replace that too. And the one directly underneath it, is the return, which I also plan to replace. So the leak, I know it's hard to get a perspective, but this is the frame rail on the driver's side. So the fuel filter, and then off of there came another line, which is the one that's leaking. Follows up into that bracket, then on over, and then there are the nylon lines. That's where I cut the supply to get that off. And these nylon lines go up into the fuel tank. I know it's hard to get that perspective, but I'm going to end up having to cut this back further for that repair kit. It's like a compression fitting that'll go right over that, but I need to get the length right so I can route it. The pre-bent lines through these same brackets. So, since I plan to go all the way to the engine with this, I'm going to take a look at the rest of the route. I'm going to have to take that off. Let's see. And there we are, where it goes into some flexible hose. And I'm not sure where that goes. I'm gonna have to crawl under more. This does not look like it's going to be easy. So I'm going to check out the rest of it. I'm going to move a little bit and see what I have ahead of me. The instructions, I believe, have me starting up at the engine. So I just wanted to give you a look. Let me go back over across here. How I started. Like I said, I relieved the pressure by starting the engine, pulling the fuel pump relay, letting it stall out. Then I came under here and relieved the remaining fuel pressure by taking this off the one side of the fuel filter. And then I cut the nylon line since I couldn't get that connector off. And so I made my way, see if this will focus, toward the front of the truck. And the other line, the other side of those flexible hoses. And this is not going to be easy at all. Up it goes up in there. Seriously debating just replacing the part that has a rusted hole. And dealing with this if they ever rust through. I don't know. I'm going to have to think about it. Maybe try to get a better look at that return line that also maybe rusting through at the same spot the supply line did. So I'm going to think about it and then go forward, at least repair that one section. Well, I decided to chicken out and only replace the section that had the hole, which is that small section there. I disconnected it from the complete fuel line kit right there at the fuel filter. I'm going to take that O-ring right there, take that O-ring off and replace the one that's under the truck. So one thing I'm going to have to do is cut this, well, not cut it, but I'll take it underneath and measure so the length works well with the way the bends are supposed to go around everything underneath the truck. So I'm going to go under, do some measurements, and cut that nylon tubing that goes with the length I need to cut underneath. I marked this repair kit length with a piece of tape, right where it's cut here, so that I know it'll help me measure underneath how much more of that nylon line I need to cut that goes up to the fuel tank. So I'll go underneath and try to where I cut it. So what I'm going to do is take this length, match up the tape to where I cut it, and then cut back. Looks like it's longer than what I need, so I'm going to have to disconnect that. This here fitting, and cut some of this nylon tubing. It's too long. So first I think I need to cut a little bit more, and then I'll take some measurements out from underneath the truck. So since my repair kit is the line is long, too long, of course I guess to get the excess, I'm going to have to cut that line, and this is where I cut the existing nylon line that runs to the fuel tank. So I'm going to take my measurement here and cut this right about there, right there, so that I get the same length, and hopefully the bend in the metal line will match underneath and go into the same brackets. So we'll see how this works. And so there we have it. Compression fitting back on. So as you can see, this one that I cut off goes up to the inside of that compression fitting. So should be good for the length I need underneath. I just need to connect this, and then I'll connect the new metal fuel line to this one. So I'm underneath. I'm going to connect this compression fitting. Oh, see if you can see it. There we go. This compression fitting to here. So I'll do that now. I gotta put the phone down. And there we have it. Connects up to the gas tank, and all we need to do is replace the metal fuel line through here to the filter. There, I'm going to replace that O-ring with the one that came with the kit. There. I'll connect it up. So the next thing to do is put the fuel pump relay back in, connect the battery, turn the key on, bleed the fuel system, and try to start it. See how all these connections hold up. Okay. It's running. Checker says the fuel pump relay. Turn the key on so the fuel pump is pumping. And take that cap off the trailer and let the air out. I looked underneath. I don't see any leaks. So I'm hoping that'll last for a while. If the other line, if the rest of the lines rust, like the rest of the fuel kit, probably just gonna have to hire a mechanic to do it for me. It was really difficult to get to these lines. So that's it. That section of the fuel line is now replaced.